Hello all my lovely subscribers, this is Caro from Lacey's Creations. I did make it back today, I was hoping I would. It all depended on how long it took to upload the last little video. Anyway, I'm here with you now with this open spine journal as promised. This journal was very much inspired by Ruby and Pearl XO. Because I don't have much crafting time, I tend to spend a lot of time watching YouTubes when I go to bed. And I saw Heather, I think her name is. I hope it is. If not, I apologise. But anyway, from Ruby and Pearl XO, I saw her doing a open spine journal, and I thought, oh, I've never tried that. I'll try that. Now, I did change it a little bit, because with Heather's one, she's wrapped the ribbons around and tied them, and I really like the look of it. But then when I made it myself, I'm not sure whether I didn't tie it tight enough, but I just felt it was a bit loose. So what I did was I pulled it, undid the ribbons that I originally had, and I've glued in this piece of hard chipboard in here, and then just punched holes and still just tied the ribbon. So it's still an open spine, but it's just got this hard piece of spine there. So that's the back of it. It's a beautiful book. It's actually, I'll show you the book it's come from. I absolutely fell in love with this book, so I had to go to Booktopia and buy a few copies. So this is the book, Secrets of a Devon Wood. And that's the cover. It's just absolutely beautiful, and the illustrations are just gorgeous. The hardest part about it is cutting them up, of course. So I haven't really cut into them. I've left the ones that I've used, I've left as whole as I possibly can. So in my car, I packed a couple of boxes of bits and pieces, because I knew that I'd want to do some craft. And so I had limited things to use, but now that I've been here 3 months, I've actually bought a few things online. And my plan originally was just to make ephemera, not to make any journals at all. But I also found that a little bit hard. I watch all these people do this fantastic mass making and thought, well, I could do that. But my brain just doesn't cope with it. I make 3 pieces and I get bored, so then I have to do something else. So my mass making's gone out the window, and then I thought, I just said to my husband, I just have to make a journal, because it's the only way I can make ephemera fit into my journal. So anyway, so this card came from Nat Williams. It was one that she sent me in a little parcel of goodies. And then this was an ephemera piece I made out of old book page, and just collaged it. I had some old stamps, but I've since got a lot more from the auctions online, and a couple of little tickets in there, a couple of die cuts that I brought with me. So that just pops in there and goes, and I made that a pocket there, with one of these little Tim Holtz book plates, Capture Life's Moments. It is predominantly a botanical book. See, so you can still see the open spine there. If I hold it up, you can see that it's open. But as I said, I just added this extra piece of chipboard. This is a little flip out that I made. Just collaging old envelopes and bits and pieces. I had some stickers and made that a big journaling spot. It's a nice big collage ticket tag. Another little tuck spot in there, and then there's another tuck spot in there if you wanted to make it one. So it's just there, that goes in there. Yeah, so a lot of collaging in this book. I had some pianola roll, and then Nat sent me some more. And I bought a bit of old ledger paper with me. And some lace, and I've since been gifted some beautiful lace by Pam at Elderfield. Okay, so I started off, I saw the Franken papers on YouTube, and I hadn't done those before, so I thought, well, I'll have a go at that. And I just collaged all these bits of paper and, you know, and then zigzagged around them. Little old picture in there. I really, the inspiration I got from Ruby and Pearl was all the very shabby look. I really love this shabby look, and I have done it before, but probably not so much in one book. This is a piece of 12 by 12. I just folded it up, made it into pockets. So it was one piece of 12 by 12, and then folded up, and then I just glued it, made little pockets, and then glued these extra pieces on the bottom. So those are little tags as well, tickets there. One of my old playing cards I just collaged onto there. And this paper's come from a very old, very old photo album, and then there's tuck spots in all of these pockets. This one I've added this little flip there, like that. And it just sits back in there. I won't put it in, nothing goes in when you're on film. This is just a paper bag with a big, I think it's Tim Holtz stamp too. These are all bits and pieces of Tim Holtz. Because I just really threw a lot of stuff in the box trying to get a mixture of things, I really can't remember whose everything is. These are some old cigarette cards that came out of the Will Cigarettes collection. So they're original pieces. And that's just a bit of stamping and washi. More of this book page that I've just grunged up and made it look old. And this was another thing that I really liked from Ruby and Pearl, was all these shabby little bits of paper. I really love this idea, but I've never quite had the courage to do it. You know, you think, oh, that looks unfinished, but I just love it. I love it. This is a very old 1879 atlas that I had at home, and I bought a few pages. So yeah, and I've just inked around it all with walnut stain, I think. Oh, no, vintage photo. And that's just a little card, and then I made that into a tuck spot. Little tiny buttons on there. Bit of material for a tab. More of the shabby look going on here. It's just a bit of music on a bit of handmade paper, and then I've just wrapped this washi around it. I actually really love it. I really love it. I'm good at repeating myself, aren't I? Sorry about that. Bit of Edith Holden and an old piece of vintage lace there, and a charm there. I was limited with the amount of the charms that I've got, so not sure that they really go. More shabby paper, and I just tied that with a little piece of vintage lace. One of the Tim Holtz dolls, of course. And this is a book page out of this book, out of the Secret Diary book. So at the back of the book there's a few blank pages there, which, you know, they look really nice, and I just tore them and aged them, made them look old. I really like it. More shabbylicious, more shabbylicious, and some die cuts I had there. I would probably, if I was at home, I would have gessoed that to make it not so bright, but I didn't bring my gesso with me, so that just goes in there, and a little bit of the belly band, an old piece of music. And then with these Tim Holtz dolls, I glued them together because I just thought that gave you a bit more of a journaling spot there. I quite like the way that was, and it makes them very firm, and they just sit in that pocket nicely, and a little washi sticker there. More of the old ledger paper, and then Nat sent me up these die cuts, slot pockets of Tim Holtz, and I've just filled them up with little bits and pieces. It's 1944, that piece of ledger. It's a chemist ledger. And then that was just some paper I had, and once again I just tore it down and inked it up and made it look old. Made this little book out of a bit of an Edith Holden page. Added a little bit of material there and a die cut. Some shabby little bits of paper in there. And just a few little pages. These are, this one is just back pages of books actually. And I just sewed that with the sewing machine all the way around. And this is another ephemera piece that I made when I first started, I was, like when I first started here, I had the idea of just making ephemera. And like I was working double shifts for a few weeks, so I was only getting one piece made a night, which didn't seem to, I didn't think was working very well, but anyway, they soon built up. I soon had a few. And then I received these beautiful Tracy Fox. Nat did a design team set for Tracy Fox, and I just loved it. So I said to her, oh, whose is that? And she told me it was Tracy Fox. So I bought a very cheap printer and bought the set and started printing out. And so yeah, it really works in this crafting world where we all share each other's ideas, and I believe that's what helps grow groups and pages. So this is just another little shabby pad made out of that very old photo paper, and it all helps. Just one more sale for Tracy or for whoever else you're using, and and it goes around. I believe that what goes around comes around. And so from an auction I got some first day issue stamp covers, and that's one of them. That's not very old, that one. That's 1973. I have got some old ones as well. And this is a piece of the pianola paper. I just collaged it. So inside is the tea-dyed paper and a bit of scrapbook and pad there. It's probably Kaiser, I'm not 100% sure. And then I just collaged different things on there. So that's the pianola paper there. I like to always back that because it seems a bit fragile without it. And there's the other side of that music. I have to tell you a funny story. I did bid on some music at an auction, and I won the bid, and it cost me $6, and it was only, in the picture on the auction, it was looked like 6 books, so I thought, oh, well, that's okay, I'll just get that, and I'll post it in an envelope. Anyway, of course, when I went to check out, the postage was, oh gosh, well, I got a few things at that auction, but anyway, the postage was about $70. And then when it came, my husband came in with this, because because of the COVID, we're all restricted on who can go into the shop and whatnot. And he came home carrying this 16 kilo box, and it was 95% music and a few little ephemera pieces I bought, but 16 kilos of it was music, so I've got a lot of music here. So that's a nice piece of fabric that Nat sent me as well. Another little charm, Edith Holden book page there. So it's really, I love bidding on the auctions. I actually nearly cried the other day. I lost a tin of Weet-Bix cards. It was in a cake tin, and a whole tin of cards, and I couldn't believe it. And then I had a staff meeting, and right at the last minute I lost the bid. Oh, I could have cried. I was so excited about getting these Weet-Bix cards. Because they're just things you don't see every day, that's why. And that's just a little envelope, and I've just stamped it, put a stamp on. I have acquired quite a few stamps at the auction. And that's another pocket up there, just in a little tuck up one there. I don't know why I paper clipped that on the side there though. And that's just the other side of the paper bag, and then I used a piece of that paper that I used on the front, the collage paper, Franken paper, with a little bit of lace. And in there is a lovely little blank card. I did absolutely nothing to it. It's a vintage card, and you can tell that just by looking at it. But I didn't want to do anything to it because it was so lovely just as it was. And I thought the person that gets this book might want to use it. And then I made this big tag to go in the back here, a little photo. I think that's from the Tim Holtz collection. Little tags in there. Just a bit of collaging really on this very old antique photo album paper. I just love the old grungy, shabby look. I really do. I'm really going to carry this look into other journals. I just wasn't keen on the open spine when I made it. And then these tickets I also glued together because I just feel it gives you a bit more space to write on. And then that's the middle of that spine. You can see the two holes punched there. And then this is like a little folio flip out on the back here. It's more of that Tracy Fox digital. And that one. It's just lovely. The colours are beautiful. I'll just move the book over so you can see a bit more. That's good. Okay. So this is another piece of that Secrets of Devon. Very hard to cut up. There's some beautiful pictures in there which would make neat fussy cutting, but I just have so much trouble cutting into it. And that's just a little card with collaged. That's the Tim Holtz collage paper there that I've used on there, and a little faux packet there which I've just put washi tape on. Yeah, and then I'll bring it back. This is another page. It's really lovely paper, and when you tear it and ink it, it really does look old, but it's not old at all. It's in her diary, 2018. She's recorded these pictures in her diary. So you'll see 2019 even. So it's not old, but it certainly does look old, and it feels, the texture of the paper is really lovely. I just love it. I actually ended up buying about 4 copies of this, and I've gifted a couple of them, and I've kept a couple. But I just love this, ripping it down and then making it look old. It's another one of Tracy Fox's little printables. And here, this is a shorthand book that Natalie sent me, and I've just put some washi tape on it, and just a shabby piece of paper. I tried to do some texture there, but my texture paste was a bit dry and it didn't really work. But anyway, I thought that looked all right like that together with that. That's that very old atlas. And here's another one of my ephemera pieces, just a little journal card. That picture comes out of a very old fashion encyclopedia. And then I've backed it onto an old Boy's Own page, which is almost like cardboard. It's so stiff. And that was very early 1900s as well. So it's all old stuff in here, old manuscript. And then the other thing I did a little bit different to Ruby and Pearl was I actually did do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch to hold the pages together, and then I punched the hole to tie the ribbon through, whereas in her tutorial she just punched the holes and tied it up. But I just found it was all a bit loose. I think for a personal journal I think it would be fine, but if you were intending on selling something, I just felt it was a bit too loose for my liking. But I love the idea of it, and I definitely love the shabbiness. This was just another ephemera piece. I just made that out of that scrapbooking paper again. Little tiny book here as well. Tucks in there. A bit more collaging. Some fabric ruffles. Oh, and these are lovely. These are botanical cards that I bought from Amazon. The beauty of living remotely here is that you do have to buy everything online, and so once you start looking, there's some neat stuff out there. That's a Tim Holtz die cut, that one, and I've just put it onto that doily. And then that's one of the botanical cards. I can show you those, actually, they're really nice. I'll just get them, sorry. And they're not expensive. Well, I don't think they're expensive. So there's 100 postcards. Oh, I just about knocked the camera over. Sorry, lady. I get very excited. 100 postcards came in this little box. And they're matte finish. I'll just tip them out and show you. You know, and there's some really lovely cards in there. And you can just, you know, grunge them up and collage onto them. I just covered that printing up on the back there, you'll see. Did that. But yeah, no, you can do lots of nice things with them. In the journal that I'm making at the moment, I've actually put two together and made a little book out of them. A little scrappy book. So yeah, they came from Amazon, and I think from memory they were about $24, and then whatever the postage was. Some Amazon sites you're lucky enough to get free postage. It's another Tracy Fox printable on the old antique photo paper. And then I've stenciled out of the negative space of the die cut. It's a page from the Devon Woods book. This is very up close fungus. It looks almost sci-fi. And that's a Tim Holtz stamp. I love that. And this is book page out of an old Reader's Digest book, and I just made that into an envelope. But I've actually glued it onto there, and then you just go into there, which I haven't put anything in there. And then last but not least, this little collaged envelope. Just a few stamps. This is really old paper that came out of an antique. At home I've got a few antiques, and when I bought this old chest of drawers, it had this very old paper lining the drawers, and so I kept that. But it's very brittle. I've had to glue it on there very carefully. It was very brittle. And that's the ledger and the scrapbooking page and some old stamps. And just collage music. I haven't put anything in there yet, but I probably will. So that's that. And that's that other piece of fabric I put there. This fabric I just stamped and stenciled and made it look old and grungy. And that's the back page where you can see there's a gap there. Yeah, and that's the back of the book. So I just left these here, and I'm waiting on some beads and things coming in the mail, so I haven't put anything on these strings yet, but I will when they come. And that's that. And so my plan is, because we're going to be here till Christmas time, I thought if I get 2 or 3 journals made and some ephemera made, when I get home, my very first plan is to open an Etsy store, and I'll put these things in an Etsy store. But if someone truly wanted it and messaged me, I'd probably sell it too. And anyway, one of my work colleagues, she's seen some of my work, and she's asked me to make 2 journals. One's a botanical and one's a crystals on crystals, and I have no idea about crystals, but I have been looking at Etsy and getting some digitals and getting an idea. I think when you make a journal, if you haven't done a subject before, you need to just study up on the subject a little bit so that you can get it somewhat authentic. Okay, ladies, that's all I have for today. Hope you enjoyed that. Sorry if I rambled on a bit. It's been a while since I made one of these videos, and I'm a bit out of practice. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.